When we remember a time, we remember moments. A kaleidoscope of the sights, the sounds, the emotions that remind us of the way we were. Our world. It's about time. Tonight, Dangerous Assumptions, Spring 1953. Here are Linda Ellerbee and Ray Gandolf.
For the next hour, think of your television set as a time machine.
Where we're going tonight, television and issues are black and white. Shades of gray are for flannel suits.
Welcome to the spring of 1953, and never assume anything. Or so the grown-ups say. Tonight's story includes the assumption of mountains, thrones, innocence, and longevity. And the grown-ups were right. Twice, anyway. Or so I assume.
In a popular song of the 1940s, Bill Kenny of the Ink Spots sang, "I'd climb the highest mountain if I knew that when I climbed that mountain, I'd find you." He was kidding, pure romantic bravado. George Mallory, an Englishman who did try to climb the highest mountain, said he was doing it because it's there. He wasn't kidding. He died trying to climb Mount Everest in 1924. In the spring of '53, 11 Britons, 1 Sherpa, and 2 New Zealanders with 36 native Sherpa guides and a color film camera set out to conquer
Hunt, leader.
The planning, the choosing the team and the decisions about clothing, equipment, food, and all those things was all my responsibility.
Base camp, 18,000 feet. Only 11,000 feet to go. First, carry 3 tons of supplies over a jumbled piece of glacier called an ice fall. To here, 21,000 feet. Then carry 500 pounds to here, 26,000 feet. Is this the top? No. Teams are formed. One of them so unlikely it must be a match made in heaven, or in this case, nearby. Tenzing Norgay, Sherpa guide, meet Edmund Hillary, New Zealand beekeeper.
If there were 2 prima donnas on the expedition who would themselves want to reach the summit, those prima donnas were probably Tenzing and myself.
The initial difficulty is getting up the icefall. Not only difficult, but dangerous, because an icefall tumbling down some 2,000 feet in a distance of half a mile is a very steep place. It means that ice is in an unpredictable state of movement, and enormous quantities, tons of ice, may collapse at any one moment.
We had carried up from the forest far below some tree trunks. As the crevasses were under constant movement, sometimes opening and sometimes closing, the bridges we had over them would be destroyed, and we would have to find a new way around.
I think we were very lucky that we had no fatal accident.
They will need luck and more to scale what Hillary's people call Mount Everest and Tenzing's people call Chomolungma. They say Tenzing, who's done more time on this mountain than anyone, has a 3rd lung. Considering what comes next, wings would be more helpful. It's assumed 3 days will be enough for the advance team to carve a path across here. It's assumed the limited supply of bottled oxygen being saved for later won't be needed until later. Dangerous assumptions. Nine days into this 3-day job, it is later, much sooner. But with the help of bottled oxygen, they open the way to the South Col, that mountain pass about 5 miles above sea level. Now, all that stands between them and the top of the mountain is 3,000 feet of straight up.
Everyone was at the point where they knew that for them to survive and to keep moving, they were at their limits.
George Lowe, also from New Zealand, also at or near the limit.
Being at the height of the South Col, 26,000 feet, we had the sort of feel of the smell of death around us.
They remember how 29 years before, fewer than 800 feet from the summit, Mallory vanished. It's written that what goes up must come down. It is not written when or how.
In the Korean War, the smell of death is 3 years old this spring. But Stalin is dead now. There's new leadership in Moscow and Washington, and there's new hope.
In this spring of 1953, the free world weighs one question above all others: the chances for a just peace for all people.
In late March, the North Koreans and Chinese agree to negotiate a swap of sick and wounded prisoners. The talks will be held in the neutral zone near the 38th parallel. Admiral John Daniel heads the UN delegation.
It was extremely important that we both arrive into the conference hut together. And then when we got in, there they faced us. But on that table, we had two little flags. One of them was the UN, and the other was the Korean. And ours happened to be a little higher than theirs. The next day, we noticed theirs were higher. Then finally, the security forces up there made some sort of agreement, and we finally were the same height, and that contest stopped.
On April 11th, Daniel signs. 5,800 North Korean and Chinese prisoners will be exchanged for 600 UN prisoners. Operation Little Switch begins.
Convoys pass on a Korean road. One carries Reds to an unknown fate, the other United Nations men to freedom.
After 31 months in prison, Vernon Warren is free.
The Red Cross nurses, they took charge. They gave us our little bags, you know, that had toothpaste and razors, and they had a clean set of clothes. And they took us to a delousing station and got a bath, and that made me feel real good that I was being finally on my way home.
Donald Legay finds out he's a celebrity.
We were going through the tents, and somebody jumped down and said, "Do you want to be interviewed for television?" And I looked at the camera and said, "What's television?" So we went in, and then they had all these lights, and you couldn't see. People on the other side asking you questions.
The American POWs are flown to Tokyo for debriefing and medical treatment. Major Henry Siegel, a psychiatrist.
I first saw the POWs when they returned to Tokyo 24 hours after being released from captivity. And the most striking thing about them was their almost blank expression and eyes that didn't quite make contact. And in fact, we gave them a title of being zombies.
Zombie, an old word for the walking dead. Brainwashing, a new word that these walking live men will bring home to describe the psychological manipulation they endured for nearly 2 years of their captivity. It was not physical torture, but it was insidious and incessant at their prison camp on the Yalu River.
In the summer of '51, they started with their brainwashing. And what that was, they took us to classes every day, twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon, 4 hours of class. As they started it, at that time, they downgraded the United States as much as they could. They had films that they showed us.
The United States forces are waging bacteriological warfare in Korea and northeast China.
My germination took place on the 27th of March, 1952, and it was a VT germination.
Whenever they let me write home, I wrote in the letters that I told my mother that the Chinese was treating me fine,
They did get petitions signed. For that matter, I even signed one of them.
This was the thing that they wanted to hear, so that then we was able to get some food.
Ultimately, the men were very, very much given to taking part in this program, not necessarily out of any anti-patriotic feelings for America, but the need to survive.
Most of the 149 American POWs are home free, but for a few, flown in great secrecy to a U.S. Army hospital, it's not over yet. Major Siegel was on that plane, so was Vernon Warren.
They had 21 of us, and they said we had been brainwashed. And I didn't know what the heck they was talking about, being brainwashed at the time, but we didn't even get a chance to even go buy a soda.
To my knowledge, this was not a special group of egregious collaborators with the enemy, and it did not make sense to me that they were sent to Valley Forge.
At Valley Forge Hospital, the press is on the verge of a dangerous assumption. But the men have not bought the communist bill of goods.
Then Private Rogers Herndon and Corporal Vernon Warren speak for all the mistakenly suspected men.
Did you undergo systematic communist indoctrination?
We did.
Was it compulsory?
It wasn't compulsory, but it was highly recommended.
I felt betrayed. I went to Korea. I laid my life on the line for my country. And then when I came back feeling like treated like something that'd been left outside for so long, I just felt outraged about it.
For the POWs not at Valley Forge, redemption is immediate. Donald Legay gets a hero's welcome.
Aloha from hula girls resounding in their ears. They go for a rest and checkup before the flight to the United States mainland.
At the airport in Frisco, I got a call from Gary Moore's show. I got a secret. They asked me if I would go on the show.
I've Got a Secret, starring Gary Moore.
All right, now, sir, if you will whisper your secret to me, at the same time, we will reveal it to the folks at home.
My, that was quite a reception from the audience. Was it, by any chance, an honor that you received?
Not specifically stated in the secret.
Not, I wouldn't say exactly an honor.
Is there a title connected with this?
No.
No?
$10 down, $70 to go. Mr. Henry Morgan.
I ought to say right away that as soon as you sat down, you know, we heard the applause. We knew it was something good or very much worthwhile. Were you one of the fellows that just has been exchanged?
Henry, you have got it.
If POWs were good showbiz, communism was not. On April 9th, the baseball club known as the Cincinnati Reds announced it wanted to be known as the Cincinnati Redlegs. Obviously, the team did not wish to be mistaken for a bunch of commies. However, considering the club's official name was not Redlegs, but Red Stockings, one wonders what else the team did not wish to be mistaken for. Come back to the spring of 1953 to Ethel, Mary, Marty, and yes, the mountain.
He drives a real shafty convertible. He really has it. Oh, when he looks at me, I get, you know, squishy.
Come on, come on. Hey, what a team. We got fans. If we give 110%, give 110% and expect it. From everyone, everything. Speed Stick Antiperspirant gives 110%. Why? It's the most powerful protection you can get. Nothing fights wetness and odor better. Glides on dry, lasts all day. That's 110% protection.
Speed Stick Antiperspirant, the wide stick.
That's your edge.
By Menon. It's American Summer Super Savers.
So long, I'll see you later. Gonna take off, don't you know? There's no stopping now, 'cause here it comes. And there I go.
American Summer Super Savers from $39 to $199 each way to cities throughout the continental U.S. So now's the time to take off with American Summer Super Savers.
We're American Airlines, something special in the air.
Introducing new Clear Eyes, the eye drop with an extra ingredient for dry, red, irritated eyes. Unlike the leading eye drop, Clear Eyes not only removes redness fast, with new Clear Eyes, there's more. Its extra ingredient actually moisturizes away dryness. With new Clear Eyes, your eyes are refreshed, relieved, and sparkling clear. New Clear Eyes removes redness, and now with its extra ingredient, Clear Eyes moisturizes too.
Enjoying your butterball sandwich, Arthur?
I love my ham sandwich. Butterball, as we both know, is a turkey. You worry me, Alice.
When is a butterball not a butterball? When it's Butterball Cold Cuts, made from lean butterball turkey meat. So your favorite ham, bologna, salami are up to 98% fat-free.
Any more butterball, Alice?
Don't you mean ham?
You worry me, Arthur.
Lean Butterball Cold Cuts.
Delicious.
After all, it's butterball.
Jonesy, you're quite a gal.
Tomorrow, the American Film Institute salutes Hollywood's premier femme fatale, Barbara Stanwyck. Join host Jane Fonda, John Huston, and Charlton Heston for an all-star AFI tribute to Barbara Stanwyck tomorrow.
Welcome back to the spring of 1953. Modern design is all the rage this season. This is something called a Bertoia chair, very big. Bermuda shorts are very big. Some men even wear them to the office below their jackets and ties. L&M Cigarettes has perfected the alpha cellulose filter tip, just what the doctor ordered, end quote. Dangerous assumption. Robert Aplenalp has just introduced a little plastic valve that makes the aerosol spray can cheaper to make and difficult to avoid. Mixed blessing. And Major League Baseball has come to network television, with Dizzy Dean taking more liberties with the English language than he ever did with Mel Ott. And what's all that?
Now tell me, what's that, baby, what's that? 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 What's that under my bed? What's that, baby, what's that? 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 What's that, baby, what's that?
Come on, I want you to meet a great new star. The new 1953 Chevrolet. See the USA in your Chevrolet. America is asking you to call. Performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it in your Chevrolet.
Or watch it on your RCA. Coming to a TV set near you this spring, Major League Baseball, Superman, and sappy songs.
I know I'd go from right
in that wonderful moment. Something happened to my heart.
No other love have I. Only my love for you.
We loved Lucy. Lucille Ball, too. And when Lucille got pregnant, so did Lucy. Why not? If art could imitate life, so could TV. And so could a brand new magazine. Marty Lewis, West Coast editor of TV Guide, whose first issue appeared that April.
I said, Lucy just gave birth to a baby. We're giving birth to a magazine. What would you think of the idea of putting Lucy's baby on our first cover? And I said, Desi, we're going to put the baby on the first cover of TV Guide magazine.
Anything is better than that. Come on, I'll do it. I'll do it.
He said, oh, no, you're not. He says, you can't have it. We promised the exclusive to Life magazine.
When the wind blows the cradle.
I said, Desi, what do you want to do, get me fired before I start? He opened his desk drawer and pulled out some transparencies, and he says, I'll be right back, which gave me time enough to pick the transparency I wanted. It wasn't long after we came out with our cover, Scooping Life, when they called Desi to complain. And he says, I didn't give it to him. I don't know how they got it. And he told the truth. He didn't give it to me. I stole it.
And Ford stole the ratings, with the help of a couple of Broadway pros. It was Ford's 50th anniversary extravaganza and the only time two networks, NBC and CBS, broadcast the same entertainment program at the same time. It starred Ms. Mary Martin, Ms. Ethel Merman.
Business I know. You get word before the show has started that your favorite uncle died at dawn. And top of that, your pa and ma have parted. Broken heart, but you go on.
just like two horses in tandem. We went, and you just started and you never stopped. It was, and you could feel it in the audience. You had a live audience, too. And no chance to do it again, ever. Merman and I learned this duet together. She was singing, I Get a Kick Out of You. I stood behind her, just looking at her with such joy to be performing with her.
Merman on Martin? She's okay, if you like talent.
I'm sure that if I took even one sniff, that would bore me terrifically. Yet I get a kick out of you.
It just was a special period that I am very happy and feel very fortunate to have been a part of at the beginning of television.
And my daddy, he treats it so well.
Television didn't need Martin and Merman to drive Hollywood gaga. Max Youngstein was one of the heads of United Artists.
There were a lot of experiments to try to chase off the competition of TV. You had the development of Cinerama, you had the development of CinemaScope. Give them what they couldn't see in their home because it was impossible to duplicate the size of the production.
20th Century Fox bought CinemaScope from the French. Darryl Zanuck peddled it to Americans.
We have a large screen that gives a semicircle around the theater, and you have the feeling that instead of looking at a small picture that you're observing, you have the feeling that you are in the picture, in the drama.
The first CinemaScope movie in production that spring was The Robe. It starred Richard Burton and Gene Simmons.
They wait to hear your defense.
It is not true that those of us who follow the teachings of Jesus are engaged in any plot against the state.
The CinemaScope process used a special lens that scrunched up the image. People looked like an El Greco painting. Then the image was unsqueezed for showing in a theater on an extra-wide screen. You needed special glasses for another Hollywood gimmick that spring, 3D. The second three-dimensional color movie starred Vincent Price.
They had to invent other things that would bring people in. One of them was 3D, which I happened to be a part of because I did a movie called The House of Wax, and it packed them in. And I used to go and sit in the back of the theater, preferably behind a couple of teenage girls. One day at the end of the picture, after they catch me, I leaned forward and I said to these girls, "Did you like it?" They just went, "Toom." I suppose my voice was identifiable by the end of the picture. It was extraordinary, the fear that the movie people had and the lengths they would go to bring people back into the theater.
A television critic wrote that spring that there's nothing wrong with Hollywood that a little TV can't cure. Hollywood had been selling some of its drab old B-movies to television, and now, for the first time, the Academy Awards were televised live.
This is indeed a wedding of two great entertainment mediums, with motion pictures and television. And with Oscar 25 years old, it's high time he got married.
It was a shotgun wedding, but it lasted. Hollywood began previewing new movies on Ed Sullivan's Toast of the Town.
And now we're going to give you a national preview of a 20th Century Fox picture, Titanic, starring Clifton Webb and Barbara Stanwyck.
Please, madam.
Hip, hip Hollywood. Hip, hip TV. Hooray for showbiz.
Television a stepchild? Common assumption, until a certain Sunday night in May, 1953, when a little live TV play climbed out, grabbed us by the heart, and wouldn't let go until we cried, "Marty."
Well, what do you feel like doing tonight? I don't know. What do you feel like doing? Well,
A love story about the kind of people you generally see at the movies, not in them. And it was good, Marty was. And when they did make a movie of it, it won the Best Picture of the Year, Marty did. Marty, a made-for-television movie.
Return to Dangerous Assumptions, spring 1953, when our world continues.
Listen up. A lot of burger places been telling you they make chicken, too. What do they know about chicken? They know cows. I mean, does this look right to you? Folks who love great chicken go to the chicken experts, Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's the only chicken with a Colonel's secret blend of herbs and spices. It's finger-licking good. No burger place can say that. So that ought to leave them with egg on their face. Oh, that's a joke, son.
We do chicken right. Mom's home.
Good food is an expression of love, and now you can make food that tastes as if you cooked all day with Sharp's Carousel Convection Microwave. It's not just fast, it's perfect. It turns to cook evenly. It browns beautifully. For people with more love than time, Sharp Microwaves. From sharp minds come sharp products.
You know what I'd do if I met Dewey Stevens?
What's that?
I'd thank him.
Great looks start with Cross Your Heart. It's not glitter and shine that make you look fine. Great looks start with Cross Your Heart. For a look that's smashing, ooh, so flashing. Great looks start with Cross Your Heart from Playtex, the fit that makes the fashion.
Fixing this water damage will cost $1,200. Could I have prevented it?
You could with Thompson's Water Seal.
This water damage is going to run $750. What would have stopped it?
Prevent water damage with Thompson's Water Seal. Simply brush Thompson's on wood, brick, or concrete, and it penetrates to form a barrier water can't get past, even when driven by 98-mile-per-hour winds.
This time, I'm going to protect my new deck with Thompson's Water Seal. A great defense against repair expense.
How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
Our world will be right back.
That doggy in the window. I do hope that doggy is for sale. I must take a trip.
Alcohol and cocaine abuse. Millions suffer, yet only now are we discovering how it breaks the body and alters the mind. How some of us are actually born to be addicts.
There are people who can be affected by very low doses.
The secret of addiction, revealed Friday